Hello, Gregg le Sueur for online tennis instruction. Do you struggle with hitting a kick serve despite trying different ideas and different drills? Most club players have a weak second serve, and having a good, solid kick serve can be a real game changer. So that's why I've spent a lot of time in recent years developing a kick serve training program for players of all levels and all ages. In today's free video, and as well as the next two videos to follow, I'm going to help you to get started on developing a great kick serve. Now, what a lot of players don't realize that there are certain serve fundamentals you have to have in place in order to successfully work through kick serve progressions. So today I'm going to show you the most common fundamentals that absolutely need to be in place in order to hit a great kick serve. Now, the most common problem I see when players try to execute a kick serve is not turning enough and not staying sideways enough at contact. Now, why that's important is when you turn and you're more sideways, it allows you to swing from more left to right up to contact, which is really critical and necessary for generating the right kind of spin to get the serve to kick. If you don't turn enough, then what happens is very difficult to swing from left to right. But I'm going to show you in super slow motion and demonstrate what I mean by swinging from left to right and staying sideways. So over to the right we have the kick serve, and we're going to compare it on the left hand side to a typical first serve. Now, if you take a look at the position of the racket here, on the left hand side for the typical first serve, notice how it's more aligned with the right side of my body. Now I'm going to swing more directly up to contact. Now let's compare that to the kick serve, and if you notice the position of my racket, it's more to the left of my body. That's going to allow me to swing from left to right up to contact, as we'll see here. So notice how the racket takes more of an arcing left to right motion up to contact. Now let's look at that again, and let's compare the two swing paths simultaneously, and you'll notice on the kick serve in this position how I've turned a lot more and my chest is pointing more towards the right. This is going to help facilitate the left to right arcing swing path which we see with the kick serve. Now, getting back to the body position, if we compare the two at contact, you'll see how on the kick serve I'm more sideways. We can tell this by looking at the shoulder position and also the position of the hips. Once again, by turning more and being more sideways at contact, that facilitates the ability to swing from left to right to generate the spin needed for the kick serve. Let's take a look at that again. Now notice the two different finishes. And if we take a look at the typical first serve, see how the finish is more into the court, whereas for the kick serve, it's more along the baseline. Again, demonstrating the left to right swing path. Now if we observe the bounce on the far side, notice for the kick serve how the ball is going to bounce to the right, and also it's going to bounce a lot higher. So by turning more, it allows me to swing from more left to right up to contact, resulting in a ball which bounces higher and also bounces to the right. So you would have noticed in the slow motion video how on the kick serve the swing path is more from left to right and it finishes out towards the side fence. Now, the reason a lot of players struggle with staying sideways is they don't have the confidence or lack the confidence in knowing that despite the fact they're swinging away from the target, the ball is still going to go in the direction of the string. So even if I swing this way, what's important is where the strings are pointing. So what happens is they don't trust it. So they start off right, but then they want to follow the ball towards their target, and you'll see what happens, how it pulls the swing path and the racket into the court, which makes it almost impossible to hit a good kick serve. Also, what will happen, because they're trying to follow the ball, they may drop this left arm, this tossing arm, and that will cause the shoulders to open up too early. And again, together with the head and the shoulders, that pulls the swing path into the court, which again makes it very difficult, or if not impossible, to hit a good kick serve. So let's take a look at a drill that's going to help you to develop the confidence in the left to right swing path that's also going to help you to stay sideways. So my goal for this drill is, number one, develop confidence in the fact that even though I'm swinging away from my target, I still get the ball to go in. So I'm going to try to get the ball to go inside the service box on the ad side. So I'm going to start in this position, what we call the racket drop, and I'm going to swing in the direction to my right, to the court next to me. And I'm going to try not to, pronate or do any extra movements just yet. Now keep in mind, when you're working on the serve, particularly the kick serve, it can put extra strain on your arm. So just make sure you're nicely warmed up and you're doing things correctly. Right, so I'm going to start right here in the racket drop, and I'm going to swing in that direction, and let's see where the ball goes. So you see, even though I swung in that direction, the ball still went in. The reason behind that is my strings were pointing in that direction. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this. And the way I've positioned myself, I can clearly see where the swing is going. It's going in that direction, and yet the ball is going to my left inside the service box. And now when I do that, I'm really trying to catch the edge of the ball, right? So if you find that the ball is possibly going to the court over to your right, just know that you probably changed the angle of the racket face. And if you're struggling with this drill, do a lot of shadow swings. Try to find the angle that will have the strings pointing towards your target. That's what's key. It's where the strings point. So try and find that angle, shadow swing it, and then try the drill again. So it's really important that you can see where the swing's going and also see where the ball is going. Now that we've worked on the drill on developing the confidence in the swing path, let's go back and address one of the common fundamental problems of opening up too soon by addressing the tossing arm. And very often we focus so much on the hitting arm, we forget what to do with this non-dominant arm. So the timing of it, you want to think that you want to keep this tossing arm up. So you release the ball, you want the tossing arm to keep going up. And then when the racket goes to about this point over your head, that's when you actually engage your legs. You'll drive with your legs, and as a result, the right shoulder, the hitting shoulder, will start to come around. So when that starts to happen, that's when your tossing arm will start to come down. And ideally, you want to bend that arm into your body this way. So get to this point, as I drive my legs, the hitting arm elbow comes around, the tossing arm will come into this position, and look, contact is across my body. Now if you have this issue, I do recommend overemphasizing having the tossing hand, if you're right-handed, stay on the right side of your body. So if you watch it again here, it's like an action-reaction. As I drive my legs, my elbow comes around, left arm comes into my body here. And I'm trying to keep it on the right side of my body as much as possible to prevent my shoulders from opening up too much. Because ideally at contact, I want to be a little more sideways with my body. So there's a nice drill you can do to work on this. So I've got this TheraBand here, and I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to shadow swing my kick serve. So I'm holding up high here. So remember, I want to swing from left to right, but as I start to swing up, use my legs, I'm going to pull down on this band and come into bring the left arm into my body. Okay, so I start here, I'm coming from left to right, and I want to keep the hitting hand, the tossing hand on the same side as the hitting side of my body. So I'll do this over and over. But again, I want to drive with the legs, the hitting elbow comes around, and then the tossing arm bends into my body. And you would do that over and over. Then you can step away and simply do some shadow swings. Tossing arm is up. I keep working this way. And you see how I'm finishing what we call arm over arm. So my hitting arm goes over my tossing arm. Now, as I say, if you are having a problem with this, you may overemphasize this finish. But certainly, once you get to this point, you can then release the arm. Okay, so now we can progress it with the ball. I'm going to stand inside the court as I'm working on something technical. I'm going to really focus on keeping that left arm up and then trying to go arm over arm. And you know, sometimes what helps students is to think that you're creating a barrier with your tossing arm, so you're almost serving over that barrier. That also sometimes helps as a visual. So I'm going to hit a couple of serves here, and we're going to focus on that arm over arm. See, I'm finishing this way, and notice how my chest is pointing in this direction. Okay, a lot of times I see players will do this drill, but then they turn and open the other way. Okay, remember, we're really trying to control our shoulders at contact. Let's watch that again. So I'm going arm over arm, and notice where my chest is pointing. I'll do this a few more times. Okay, and then from there, once you got comfortable with it, you may move back to the baseline, and you'll start to hit regular serves. And certainly once you step into the court, then you would release that tossing arm. So I'm first going to go in with my back foot. So I'm going arm over arm, and then as I step in, see how I release that left arm. See it one more time. And I release. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my left foot, my front foot first. So I'm going to land, release. I may even work on pushing back. See that again. So you would practice it that manner, but again, you want to emphasize hitting arm over tossing arm. So this concludes today's free lesson. Look out for the next lesson in the next day or two, where I'm going to show you some field-based progressions on how to develop the correct contact, the feel for contact, and the correct swing path to develop a great kick serve.